welcome to the presentation of Krit Visitstump นะครับ on his cooperative education presentation for Elysian Next นะครับ and his supervisor is Mr. Paul Paradise นะครับ he is also with us. Welcome นะครับ and Krit ครับ if you are ready you may start your presentation นะครับ
All right, thank you, Kapajan. So, hello and good afternoon, everyone. And today I will be presenting my cooperative education experience at Elysian NXT. So before we move on, before we go further into the experiences that I have gained throughout this cooperative education, let's first talk about who Elysian NXT is and to also understand what the company is offering to its customers. So Elysian NXT is a Thai-Belgian financial technology company. They were founded in 2017, and the company offers real-time risk and finance solutions for the finance industries that allows the finance industry to react to changing regulatory demands with the company's innovative software. And the company has a development center in Bangkok, and they also have offices in Jakarta and Brussels. And this is the customers, and you might be able to see familiar logos in Thailand, such as KTC, Easy Buy, and Sawat. And let's move on to the solution that the company is offering. So one of the main products that Elysian is offering is IFRS 9. So it's an international financial reporting standards that specify on how an entities such as banks should classify and measure things such as their financial assets or their financial liabilities. And Elysian offers end-to-end IFRS 9 expected credit loss calculation. And that can be used to essentially indicate on the backup money that the bank has. And one of the other main products that Elysian is offering is Basel IV. So Basel IV is an international regulatory framework for banks, and it contains various rules on capital and liquidity requirements. And Elysian offers credit risk weight calculation, standardized approach, and IRB hosting. And they also offers IRBB, which is risk posed when the interest rate changes. So this is where when interest rate increases, it may have an effect on the value of a bank's assets, for instance. And credit scoring is there to calculate the credit score for each of the borrower. And credit scoring can be applied to both IFRS 9 and Basel IV. And liquidity risk that covers the LCR ratio and the NSFR ratio, which is a net stable funding ratio. And lastly, Titanium, which is data streaming data management platform based on the export, transform, load data integration process. And next, let's move on to I'll tell you about my experiences at the company. My position at the company is I'm a back-end software developer in the software development department. And my duration, the duration of my intern was from September 1st to December 30th, 2021, which is approximately 4 months. And for the duration of my internship, I attended work on site. Now, we also have appropriate COVID-19 social distancing measures applied in the company, such as a reduction of employees working on site. And for the communication method, we use Microsoft Teams to communicate with other people throughout the department and the company. And this is Paul, who is my CTO and also serves as a job supervisor. Now, he did not really we did not really do a hands-on session with my supervisor that much because he's very busy with his work. But in terms of like how the company hierarchy, he was my supervisors. And these are the co-workers and mentor at my companies. And although the developer teams is larger than what is shown here in the presentation, these people on the presentation were the people that I have interacted the most throughout my time at the company. And during my time there, I have been assigned with a work laptop and also with my own personal workspace. And in this laptop is where I do all of my company assignments at the company. And also, if required, I will bring the work laptop back home to finish up the assignments during the weekend. And these are the tools that I use as a backend developer. So for backend, the code company written with C# on the .NET platform. And to go along with C#, we use Visual Studio as the IDE. And we use PostgreSQL, which is our database management system. And also in one of my projects, I have to use Postman to send requests to the API. And for the other development platform, the company utilizes many of the tools that are available on the market. So first we have Docker, which is an image management software. And we have SonarQube, which it inspects the code to detect bugs or error while building in Jenkins. And Jenkins is there to build images for deployment. And for the company, for the code repository, the company utilizes Bitbucket. And also we utilize Jira as a way to track our progress with project and any other bugs ticket. And let's move on to my personal work experiences. So first we have a stand-up meeting amongst the developer team that occurs every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Now, this 15-minute meetings contains topics on where like team members share their progress on what they did during the week. And also the session is there to update on current development project, bug fixes, or when there is a release coming up, we would also share that during the session. And the stand-up meeting is also the time where the teams share concerns with maybe like the with Paul or maybe with other developers. So this is the first task that I did when I joined the company. So this essentially serves as a warm-up before I go deeper in the company's code. So after the introductory week, I have been assigned with a task to rename the old API to the new name. So from IFRS9 UI API to UI API. So this is where I also change the reference of the old UI API to the new name. So for example, if other API is using this UI API, I would have to go into that API and rename the references so that it will point to the new one. And another task that I was assigned during my initial weeks there was to migrate the remaining REST endpoint from the old Open API to the new Open API. So basically, this task is very similar to the previous task, with an exception that I also, in this task, also update the deploy codes for the developers that they use in order to deploy their local, in order to deploy the images on their local machines. So after that initial task that allowed myself to like adapt to the software and the tools that were used in the company, I have been assigned with several tickets, bug tickets that to investigate and resolve for the upcoming release, major release of the software. And some of the tickets are very simple to resolve, while others require some coordination and communication with other members in the development team. And this is the steps that I perform to in order to solve to complete the task. So first, I would get the task assigned by support or tester, and after that, I would view the bug report to see the details on how, like, where the problem is, or maybe the steps to reproduce it. And then I would pull the latest code from the repository, and I would create a new branch for the fix, and I would implement the fix. So I would go into the code and edit the code to fix the bug. Now, after that, I would test the fix in the local deployment to see that if there's any problems with my fix. And if there's no problem with the fix, I would then commit the change. And after I commit, the images will be built on Jenkins automatically. And if the image has been successfully built, I would do a post test on my local deployment with the newly created image to make sure that there is no problem with the code. And after that, I would open a merge pull request so that my mentor and my supervisor can review the changes and to give suggestion to my fix. And if the pull request has been approved, I would do the post-merge test by pulling the latest development image to see that everything is playing along nicely. And after all of that has been completed, the final step is for me to update the bug tracker spreadsheet and the ticket on Jira. So this is the bug tracker Excel, and you can see that some of the information has been blurred out to comply with the ISO 27001. And you can see here that this is the area that, so you can see this is the API that has been affected, and you can see the description of the bug. And here you can see prioritization, and this is where this is the owner of the ticket. And also you can see the status and the category of the issue. And this is the Jira dashboard that this is where I can see all of my assigned tasks. And you can also see here the prioritization of each task. And if I were to click on the ticket, I would be able to see all of the details regarding the ticket, such as like the steps to reproduce the bug, or like the area of that I need to go into to fix the code. Now, the next task is one of the major tasks that I have been assigned to during my time at the company, which is the uploading of large Excel files containing data and value of adjustments for IFRS 9 impairment to overlays and stress tests. So to give you more details on what overlay and stress test is, so overlay is an adjustment on top of a known property that may have an impact on calculation. And it is typically used when the user already knows the outcome of the calculation. And stress test is where we apply the data, we apply the adjustment to the input data via simulation. So it's go to simulate the scenario that can be used for further analyzing. And user can also create a rule to the overlays and stress tests that specify on how the input data must be applied in the manner that the user has configured. And for my contribution in this project, I have contributed to this feature during the research phase, and I also have some contribution in the development phase. And for the development phase, my focus is in the logic of the spreadsheet processing in the backend API. And also I tested out the implementation to both in front end and back end to find bugs that other developers may have missed. So this is the overall process for uploading the files for overlays and stress tests via the REST API. So first the eStudio, which is the user interface, sends the file to upload, and also it sends the payload to eDrive. And after that, after eDrive has received all the information, it would save the file and prepare the request to the API. After that, it will send the link of the uploaded file and payload to the UI API. And after the API has received all the information, it updates the overlay configuration, and also it would also process the Excel file asynchronously. And after the process has been done, it would return the response back to eDrive and then back to the user interface. And the eStudio, which is our user interface, will fetch the overlay data via polling. And this is an example of what is inside the overlays and stress test Excel, where the data in the spreadsheets goes to the process to verify that the data are correct or complete before moving on to the next step in the process. So for instance, here with the overlays, for our system, we require that we have contract ID, stage, or ECL. And for example, in stage, we must set the stage to either be our stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3. And if the user were to input like stage 4, the system would highlight that cell as an error cell, and the user will have to go back and fix their data. And this is a sample upload process. So this is what the user will be seeing when they use this feature. So first they will go to the impairment deck, and they will go into the overlays tab. In here, they will have to create an overlay and configure the overlays before they are able to upload the Excel spreadsheet. And after creating and configuring the the overlays, the user would then drag in and upload their Excel spreadsheet into the system. And after the upload process is finished, the upload process that you have seen in the previous few slides will begin. And once that process is finished, the system will return with the process spreadsheet here, and also the step of the particular spreadsheet. So here you can see the number of rows that the system has processed, and also how many rows has passed validation, and also on how many rows that the system fails to validate. And if the user press on the more details button, they are able to see more information, such as the original file name, and also the entries that are in the Excel itself. So here we can see here that in row 2 it is marked as an error because contract ID and ECL is currently missing from this spreadsheet. So the user can press this 3 dots right here, and they can perform a re-upload. So essentially, when they download this process file, they are able to see the statistic of this particular process file, and they are able to go in and fix the data, and then they can use this re-upload here function here to re-upload the process file. And they also can clear the entries here. So if the user press this button here, it will clear this existing entry, and that the users can upload the another spreadsheet, for instance. Now let's talk about further activities that I have participated in the company. So during my time, there was a training session bi-weekly to train both developer or a professional services team on topics that each department specializes in. So for example, we have a training session hosted by PS team that aims to train employees on the standardization ISO 27001, which is an standardization on information security, or demo on how they can use impairment calculation with eStudio, which is the application that we develop in-house. And I would like to be honest here that I would to say that this is something that I did not expect, because the training session contains a handful of very informative content that I did not that I may not be able to find in my university courses, especially those that are related to finance, such as impairment. And also we have an external company activities, such as going out to play badminton, running, or playing soccer after work. I also would occasionally get invited by my co-workers to go out to have a food party, or to have shopping session, and many more. So the key takeaway and what I have learned. So first of all, I have learned how to apply programming in a professional development. Now the reason I said that is because usually when I go to university, the assignment I get from classes are difficult, and it was designed to grade you on how, if you're doing the task correctly or not. But when you compare that with the company environment, the main objective is really just to finish your work. And if you are stuck or have any problem, you can just go and ask any other developers in the team. Next is I also have to adapt to corporate structure and environment. Now, even though I have worked in a corporate structure before as a part-timer, I am also still able to learn new stuff here regarding how the office work and the environment here. And I also got to improve on my critical problem skills. So especially when I do coding and when I have to fix bugs for the release. And the most important part is being able to communicate with my teammate. So since I am working as a team, it's very expected from you to communicate and talk to each other. So for example, if I have to hand a ticket over to front-end developer, I would approach him and just sit with him and go over on the steps to produce the bug, and to discuss on what can be done in order to fix the bug. And overall, this is a very good learning experience as an intern. And the environment at Elysium was very friendly and welcoming. And everyone in the company was very welcoming, and they're willing to teach me a lot of things. Excuse me. Even though some of them seems to be very busy with their own stuff. And this also opened my eyes to real professional working life, and I also developed a lot of skills along the way. And I also got encouragement from my supervisors to really just try out new things when I resume my studies at my university. So I have mentioned to my supervisor that I will be taking a game development course this term that I'm studying right now, and really he just encouraged me to try out new stuff and really to find my potential career path after I graduated from the universities. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Krit. From the audience, do you have any questions to ask Krit?
I have no question, but I have a comment that I like when Krit compare the objective of working on assignment in school, and then the objective of in professional life. Thank you.